What's the tea? So Auntieways. So Auntieways. So Auntieways.
By the way, are you wearing merch, my love?
I am wearing merch. Yes,
I love it.
This is our new angel dusted merch.
Oh, I want it. How do I get it?
At the
Booby.
Where do I go?
Booby, we
What?
run a store. We have our own.
But I don't know
store.
where to get it.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
You're gonna send me the link.
Yes.
It was
It's
redbubble.com/the-workshop with a Q. And the link is always in the description, like it is every week.
always in the description of the
Oh.
YouTube.
Okay.
And as long as we're talking about
always.
merch, I do want to say, to quote Miss Matinga, I do want to say, so you guys know that we were working on something called Whisper Coup.
Yes.
And I put it up on the merch shop, and it's there.
Immediately.
But it has been marked as mature content, so there's no way to see a preview of it. So, like, you go to the site, and there's no way
What's
to
so
actually.
mature about it?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. So let me see if I can. I'll put up a picture of Whisper Coup. So if anybody wants Whisper Coup, which is the description of Janet Jackson's unique singing style.
I mean, I've seen it, but I don't understand what whisper cool means. Where does that?
Whisper Coup, like avec tu enfant fui. You know how Janet kind of like talk sings?
Oh, that kind of whispers.
Listen, everything's up here. You know. It's all everything that comes
It's
out.
like it's like that video viral of those two trannies walking down the street. Hi, what's your name? Marco.
Marco, I've lost Marco.
Yes.
They both con and look fish, and she goes, hi, what's your name? Marco.
Which also reminds me of the two Asian guys, like they're out in the woods, and one is like real cunt, and like you think she's a woman, and then she calls for her man, but it's like this super deep
Yes,
voice.
That's viral, honey.
Hilarious. Yes.
Oh my God, send those to me, please.
We will.
Um,
and it was so
hold
good.
I don't know if I shared this. There's some clip of, like, I think it's in Thailand, and there's a brawl between some Thailand transgender sex workers and some transgender sex workers from the Philippines.
Really?
And it's like a turf war. No pun intended, turf. And woo!
Oh,
They go at it, girl. You don't want to fuck with them,
I
honey.
love it.
Yes, honey.
Actually, I will say
Yes.
something.
Don't you walk away from me, you coconut face
I
whore.
won't, no spoilers, but I will say I went to go see Monkey Man this week. Dev Patel's directorial
How
debut.
was it? Did you like it?
It was fabulous. A little. He could have cut maybe 15 minutes, but I thought it was fabulous. But I'm not going to say anything other than to say there's some lovely LGBTQIA representation that the story turns on and is super important. And I thought it was so lovely. Like I actually got emotional. I thought it was really, really beautiful. And he didn't have to do that. Like he didn't have to. Like the story kind of hinges his hero's journey sort of hinges on it. And I thought, wow, like how lovely of Dev Patel, because in India they have what's called the Hajida, which they're not yes, exactly, and they do the marriages and they're kind of like religious, but they are they are third sex.
They are a menace. They're like those people on the subway selling candy, because the Hajira will come to your like baby blessing uninvited and not leave until you give them dollars.
Trust.
What?
Well, I'm very much like that myself, honey. I will show up at your baby shower, and I'll be like, "Listen, I'm leaving.
I want some chocolate.
I want some diapers and some candy."
Honey,
You know what movie I saw that's very similar? It's got the same type of message. Godzilla versus King Kong.
Loved Godzilla versus King Kong, but
No,
I think Mothra.
Only kidding. Did see it. Mothra made an appearance. Quite fab. Fierce special effects.
Miss Mothra Ray, yes.
Yeah, it was cute. It
did
wasn't
her
smart.
reality
It was cute.
commercials.
It was cute. Real cute. Are we
Cute, real
taping?
cute. We are. Lord knows if we're going to use any of that. I'm going to say doubtful, but I have not seen nor heard of Monkey Man. I have not seen any Godzilla movie in about 20 years ago. But maybe
Girl.
Mama,
I think you should.
I think you should.
And the TV show Godzilla Legacy, which is Wyatt
Wyatt
and
Earp.
Kurt Russell. Kurt
Yeah.
and
Oh, this
Wyatt.
was fun.
Wyatt plays the younger Kurt Russell in World War II when they first discover Godzilla.
Yeah,
It's
and then
actually a
Oh.
really good show.
and
Is
it
that my
leads right
home
in.
slice? That's my home slice that was in
Yes, yes,
the Marvel show.
yes.
I gotta
He's
say,
in it, and he looked good. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
have
not
been.
into that chin. It don't work for me normally, but
What's wrong with
you're
his
kind of
chin?
giving it, huh?
What's wrong with his chin?
It's prominent. She's giving you like
She's giving you a lantern.
Inspector Gadget, like I don't know, like
but
really
the
That
thing is that
prominent chin.
his dad plays the older version of the
Yes,
character, and he plays the younger version of the character. So the
and they
characters
look spitting
they look
image.
spitting like each other. So
But
there's
it's
a real
Goldie
through
Hawn
line.
in it.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah, it's
Goldie
beautiful.
Hawn?
She
It's
plays
She's
Goldie.
not in
Godzilla.
it. Goldiezilla. Yes.
Well,
Yes, girl.
she is kind of Goldiezilla at this point,
She's
honey.
up
She
there,
is.
honey.
She's up there. Anyway, welcome to So Auntieways. This is Showdown, and
This is Miss Matinga.
This is Booby.
we're here to rock.
We're here to rock down
Uh-oh.
to.
Sock. Is there less of a delay on me? No,
Okay, then.
no.
Yeah.
Please, Lord. Listen, this started with 10 minutes of me having technical difficulties. So, y'all, let's pray on it. Let's pray on it, girl. Let's pray on it. So,
Honey,
how
that's
y'all
why we
I
pray.
love that when one point Minting and I were discussing something and you put down the microphone and left the screen and it looked like you were a mutant. Like you went super fast. All of a sudden you disappeared.
really?
We gagged.
Yeah, we gagged. We gagged. Totally
How'd she
gagged.
do that?
Disappeared off the screen. Like it was like a Muppet exit. You know how a Muppet will go zoop, boom.
Phenomena.
So funny.
There's some things y'all bitches don't know about me.
I'm sure there's more than just one.
Possibly. So let's get this moldy ball rolling.
So let's start with what are we into this week? We have a couple things to get into, but what I am into this week is X-Men 97.
Ah, yes.
It is the new cartoon on Disney, a continuation of yes, I knew you'd be into it, Ms. Booby. A continuation of the original cartoon X-Men 97, and except I think the artwork is a little bit better. I think the writing is a little bit better.
Morph is different.
Yeah, and it's getting serious. Like the storylines are, and also it was written. I don't know if it was directed, but I know the showrunner and the writer was an out gay man. He was let go after the first season, which is still airing. But man, he's killing the game. And you can also tell a queen wrote it because he's featuring the chicks like Storm has all her power and Rogue is killing it. And like you can tell like most gay boys, like he knows like screw the boys, let's feature the girls.
Right. Yeah.
Does Storm have like a patois or an African accent or anything of that nature?
She talks in this really like
Grammatically correct,
dramatic way. It's kind of funny, kind of how you expect her to talk, but
Is
it's
she
like what you
serving-
like.
Is she serving Mohawk?
very
Mohawk.
Danny extravaganza. I like
yes.
what you like.
I like what you like, darling.
Yeah, but man, like even though it's a cartoon, it is quality. And right now, it's the #1 show on Disney Plus.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
And people are always
Incredible.
talking about it until I started watching it. And I was like, oh my God, this is no joke.
Yeah,
They really, if you're an X-Men fan, you've got to watch it.
it's so good.
Is that big muscly one in it? You know that big muscly one that can just like go through a
Shockingly,
door?
Colossus?
Colossus.
I haven't seen
No, he's not. Surprisingly.
Strangely,
Y'all let me know when Miss Colossus shows up, honey. I'm a dip in. Miss Booby, what are you featuring this week?
So I got a Facebook message from my baby sister today.
wow.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't spoken to her in 24 years. The last I spoke to her, the last we talked, it wasn't in a good space. So what I'm featuring today is reconnecting with family. I don't want to get too serious, but it's a beautiful thing. This came out of left field, and it was really nice to Yes, I have family. Bob is my husband. I've got you girls as my sisters, and I have my chosen family. But I don't have much biological family as far as relationships go. And so it was really nice to reconnect with her and hear how well she's doing, and I let her know how well I'm doing, and then we'll see where this relationship goes, because we're starting from square one.
Yeah.
And without getting too into details, it it's a beacon of hope that people can grow up, both me and her, and change, and forgive, and I mean, the reality is all of us are on limited time. And I didn't, it's nice to know that, in a world of insanity, there's a little bit of sanity in it, so that's what I'm featuring this week.
Oh, Miss Booby, I'm
Wow.
so happy for you. I'm so happy. I mean, I just
Desperado.
needed to blow my nose too. Desperado.
Yes, I could.
Well, well,
No,
Miss
but I'm genuinely happy for
Miss
you.
Booby, that's
I
Thank
that's
you,
really,
baby.
incredible.
I know what your family
Pretty
needs.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good for you, darling.
Thank you,
Um,
darling.
no, that's
Sorry.
pretty amazing. I don't know how I'm gonna follow that up, because that was pretty heavy and wonderful. Mine is a little trivial, but on the other hand, I've got two things. But I do want to say that's great news, Miss Booby. Okay,
Thank you.
so the
Thank you.
first thing I'm feeling this week is this little plant. She's called Alocasia bambino.
Ooh,
Ah,
that is
She's
lovely.
Ain't she fierce, honey? She's
luscious.
fierce. Get into her leaves. I got her from work because they have made the fatal mistake of putting me in charge of ordering. Anyway,
Ugh.
so yeah, I'm kind of just like ordering shit I like. That's Alocasia Bambino. The other thing I'm feeling is I went to see a show this week. I went to see Jessica Lange in Mother Play
How
with,
was it?
oh, it's really good.
Wow.
Really good. It's by Paula Vogel. It was directed by Tina Landau. I didn't really know. No, I didn't know anything about it beforehand, which
Off
I did.
Broadway or Broadway?
Jessica Lange, darling.
Oh,
Yeah,
Broadway,
Miss Jessica.
darling.
oh,
Um,
summer
there
stock.
was only three people. It was Summer Stock, Jessica, Jim Parsons, and Celia Keenan Bolger, who
Ooh,
you'd
good
know
cast.
from. Ooh, it was tight. It was
Good
tight.
cast.
I went with Roger and Steven. We had great seats.
Excellent.
Jessica, like I could not stop. I couldn't keep my eyes off of her. It was
Yeah.
so great. Great. Fantastic show. Running for 11 weeks, I think, at the Helen Hayes, at the Whatever Happened to Helen Hayes Theater.
Oh
Yes.
And
my.
yeah, so Mother Play is what I'm featuring this week. I think it opens officially on the 25th. So we saw it in previews and it was just wonderful.
Funnily
Wow.
enough, I had invited you to come see a show, and
That
then I
same
texted
night.
that very same night, and then I texted you that very same night. We were both seeing shows. I had the distinct pleasure to go see Ibsen's Ghost, the new Charles Busch. I love Charles Busch. It was hilarious in a beautiful little theater up on 59th Street, and of course Charles Busch's Vampire Lesbians of Sodom and so many other really great parodies and satires. And this show was brainy and at the same time stupid, and great performances. But the interesting thing was I didn't know that Thomas Gibson was also in the play. And Thomas Gibson from Dharma and Greg and Tales of the City and Criminal Minds. And I just love him. And he just turned 60, and the man is fucking gorgeous. And and I was in the very first row. So if I had stood up and reached out, I could have touched his crotch and gotten thrown out of the theater. And
But it would
he
have been
was
worth
super
it, right?
funny. It would have been worth it.
Girl, what if you had gotten to the theater and there was like they do like last minute cast replacements, but they always let you know if someone isn't appearing. What if it was, instead of Thomas Gibson in the role, it was Debbie Gibson? Would you have
Even
stayed?
better.
Oh,
Even
what
better.
about Mel?
Playing Wolf the sailor?
Yeah,
Yes.
and she'd kill it, honey.
She'd kill it, girl.
Her
Holy
classic line would be, "You gotta, you gotta,
You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta. But like fast forwarding in time a little bit, Miss Matinga, let's talk about who you are crushing on this week.
Yes. So, because of my experience at the theater this week and the surprise that that this gentleman was in the play, Thomas Gibson turned 61 this year.
What? Oh
and
my God.
he is my crush. Not only have I always appreciated his work from playing Beecham and Tales of the City and Dharma and Greg, and I've always thought he was a really good actor and funny. But now, even at 61, the dude is still so. This is a current picture of him.
He's
Wow.
cute,
He's
yo.
still so handsome. And like also then to like when you see somebody in person, there's no filter, there's no nothing. And the man is 61, but he's still fucking gorgeous. And he turned in a really, really steady comic performance that I was impressed with. I was like by the end of the show, I was like, oh, it sucked that dick.
Honey,
Oh
Travis, girl.
my.
But enough about Charles Bush.
The question I'm featuring, I can't, senility is not cute at this age of 39, but I don't remember if I ever mentioned him before. Aaron
Okay.
Taylor
Johnson.
Did I ever mention him before?
I'm not sure
I
because I don't know who that
emailed
is.
you his picture. He
Okay.
was he
don't know
played
who that is.
Quicksilver, the brother of Scarlet Witch in the Avengers.
Yes.
He is now going to be in the movie Craven.
Yes.
Who is the he's like the Magneto of the X-Men. He's the arch nemesis of Spider-Man, Craven.
Yes.
And
yes.
he is
Craven.
fine.
Miss Booby, this is your
You're the man.
piece.
Catch him.
Damn.
Catch that.
Lovely.
Damn.
Judas
Ooh.
Priest.
But why?
I
he's
mean,
so
he just
dirty,
covered in
girl?
mud. He still look good.
Covered in mud, honey. Yeah. I don't have a crush this week because
Isn't she right behind you, smiling at you?
Hello.
Miss
Miss
Joan,
Joan, honey. Miss Joan would crush you, by the way.
She would. Oh,
Crush
but
you lovely.
I did start reading a book about Joan called Ferocious Ambition, and
Oh.
so far it's really good. It's really
Wow.
interesting. I love Miss Joan. So yeah,
Is it an autobiography?
No, she didn't write it herself. She's been dead for about 50
Okay.
years.
A biography.
But it's a new book. No, but it's really, really good. I don't have a crush because my feeling on humanity at the moment, not so great. And I'm not feeling it to get in bed with nobody. Ain't nobody turning me out, turning me on. Although I will say, I was on the phone with my friend Kate earlier, and she was telling me how she took her dog to the park, Prospect Park. And I thought she had said there were a lot of dads off leash. She said dogs off leash, but I heard dads off leash.
Honey.
Same
And I was
thing.
like, honey, so what I'm crushing off is an off the leash dad who's also off the chain. That's
Off
what
the
I'm
chain,
crushing
honey.
on, honey.
How
Yes,
lovely.
girl. Run free, bitch. Run free, motherfucker. And when I'm done with you, go home to your woman.
Apart from the pack.
Apart from the pack head.
Yes, Daddy. I'll meet you out in the yard.
I'll be you in the yard. Yard. Honey, where you want this punani? Yard.
In the
Anyway.
yard.
God.
So I'm crushing on dads off leash. Mhm.
Word.
Do we have anything that we are not featuring?
Nah.
Well, just to move things along, I will say that I do have something I'm not feeling, and it's called instant karma. Let me tell you what happened to me, girl.
White worm.
The white worm.
Oh,
I was
white.
going to see an apartment because roommate and I are like, the rent's about to go up. Let's see if there's something cute. So it was literally like just, kind of a few blocks away. And I was in a rush. It was a last minute thing. And I thought, okay, let me cut through that, that St. John the Divine Church.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm walking through, and there's these kids, I guess, in an after school program, and they're all fenced in, whatever. And they were playing some kind of sport ball, and the ball rolled outside the fence. And they're like, Mister, can you get our ball for us? So I walk over like I'm going to do it. And the counselor or teacher or whatever was like, don't do it. I said, oh. So I wasn't going to give it to them. But just to be a bitch, I took my foot and I moved the ball 1 foot further away from them. And honey, those kids started screaming at me, you're evil, you're evil. One of them called me a creature. I mean, a creature.
Why didn't the counselor want you to throw the ball back?
I don't know. But I was like, well, if they're not going to have the ball, let me just put it a little further out of their reach. And I laughed and I cackled. But so as I'm walking away in the late afternoon sunlight, no, girl. And I can hear them, you're a creature, you're evil, you're evil. And I laughed and laughed. And I get to like the, it's a big fucking church. And I get to the edge of the property. Bitch, it is fenced in. And I'm like, I thought I was
going to. You got to walk by them again.
But I didn't, girl. I
You
climbed
climbed
that
the fence.
fence. I climbed the fence, and honey, I scaled over, and halfway as I'm scaling over, I remember I've got back problems right now. So rather than just land, I kind of like landed and rolled because it was downhill to like Morningside Avenue, whatever that is. Girl, that's instant karma, honey.
Stop,
That,
drop,
honey,
and
and
roll.
roll, honey. The spirit of Satan did not protect me, but I had a good
No.
laugh at those children's.
Oh.
Desperado.
Talk
Well,
about desperado, honey.
listen,
Desperado.
I had to do what I had to do. Sometimes,
Yes.
sometimes it bees like that, which brings us to the segment we like to call Angel Dusted. Who wants to do some angel dust?
Not me, but thank you.
Not anymore, certainly.
Does anyone still do angel dust? Does anyone still wear a hat? Just out of curiosity, don't know. So when the episode first opens, we are inside of, I don't know if they called it the Kitty Cat Club or the Cat Club or whatever, which is supposed to be like the Playboy Club, but they're felines. And it's a bunch of these ladies dressed as cats, sort of.
Were they wearing cat ears?
Yes, they were
were.
ears, tail, and fur on their forearms.
And a stupid little heart.
Like a heart. And one of these young ladies is being elevated to centerfold status.
Centerfold, right.
And so they're having, I guess, what their traditional feline send-off is. She gives someone her ears, she gives someone her tail. They're all in their red sparkly outfits. But it looks like a really dingy Italian restaurant, to be honest. Like it doesn't look fancy at all.
But apparently this guy runs hotels. He's got a huge successful magazine. He's running like a Playboy at night type club.
Right. But we don't meet him yet. We just kind of start with the girls. And then they're in their dingy ass locker room. And the girl who's going to be a centerfold is by herself.
Because everybody just happens to leave at the same time.
Well, girl, you know that bus running up Santa Monica only runs once an hour.
Well, is the bus still running?
I heard
the bus still running.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 a.m. though. They did say something like 3 a.m. So she's in there and she hears something, and some mysterious person in black comes up behind her and chloroforms this bitch. This young woman. She knocked to the ground, and then this perpetrator of her hair
chops her locks.
Yes.
Chops her locks, girl. Ooh, bitch, that ain't fair. Give that horsey back
her hair.
What?
Thank you, Tony.
So not only was this young lady chloroformed to death, apparently was the cause of death.
Because it's a special kind of chloroform, evidently.
It's kind of
something with a little bit of a kick.
It's chloroform chloroform. It's chloroform form.
Yeah, you use that same formulation. Use it on the dance floor at the black party
or a factory.
Would be fierce, honey. Wouldn't kill one queen.
Which apparently the most recent black party was a total bust.
A total bust.
Did we discuss this already? That they had it in a Mexican restaurant.
What?
We didn't discuss it here, but we have discussed it.
Had what, the black party? Or
yes, girl.
What do you mean?
It was in a Mexican restaurant in Hell's Kitchen.
They had it at some 4-floor venue in Hell's Kitchen that was not big enough and also had a restaurant.
Is it still a thing? Or do people still go attend it? I mean, when we were going, it was like
the
thousands of people. I mean, it seemed like thousands.
It was thousands upon thousands.
Yeah, but now you can get your groove on, and they'll serve you taquitos.
Yes.
So,
and supposedly it was very ill attended as well. It's over. It's over.
Yeah,
at least the New York version.
Also, do you know what it was, Matinga? We were talking about it with that guy at Raymond's Easter thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Raymond's Easter brunch, which was lovely. Our dear friend Raymond.
Except for that one bitch that wanted to fight me, and she was.
Oh yes.
Keep
his
pushing
cat.
me, girl. No, not his cat.
You have it. The little Asian women never like you.
Well, no, they love me, girl. But this one, honey, she was coming at me the wrong way. I was gonna fight her anyway, but I didn't.
Did you? It's what you said though. You told her to take your dry cleaning, girl. That's not nice. Nobody's kidding. Oh, kidding. Just kidding.
Anyway, so they're in the feline club. She gets knocked out. Someone cuts her hair off. Then we're in the Townsend agency, and the Hugh Hefner stand-in, Tony,
Mr. Mann.
Tony?
Yes.
Or
Tony Mann.
Tony Mann, portrayed by Hugh O'Brien. But we open that scene with Bosley complaining that the Angels forgot his birthday.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
where's my butt plug? Right.
Yes.
But how did it get to that? They were talking about celebrating someone else's birthday. He says, "But y'all don't. What about me?
Oh, because they were like, well, what does Charlie look like? What's his shirt size?
What's
How
his
we gonna buy him a
birthday?"
birthday present?
Right.
Right.
He's like,
But
speaking of birthdays,
and Bosley was like, well, where's my extra large butt plug for my birthday? But I want to say about Hugh O'Brien, who plays Tony, the owner of the feline thing.
would you do it?
You know, I would.
I know you would.
I would. He was
I can
like,
smell it a mile away.
That actor had to be in his 50s.
I do like an older man,
Yeah, for sure.
Being an older woman that you are,
darling. I thought he was like not really like hot or anything, but like serving you daddy energy. And yes, the character was like a misogynist pig, an exploiter of women. But I was kind of into him. So yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so he's like, I need the angels to come figure out who's killing my girls, because I think there were 3 of them killed.
Two had already been killed.
Right.
Okay, 2 had already been killed.
3rd.
2 are dead already. So this, so like
Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Dead.
I just want to real quick name the main players, because just to keep those names in mind. These are
Yes, good
important
idea.
people. So we have Danny Oletta, who is his main competition, kind of like the guy that runs their version of Hustler,
Like Bob Guccione.
like a Bob Guccione. Then we have Dave Earhart, who's Tony Mann's business manager.
Him, I felt
Who was
more than Tony Mann.
And then
Really?
Totally.
And then
don't know why.
And then kind of like the mafioso that runs the club for Tony is Victor Burrell. And then kind of like what would you call her? Her name was
Like
Jan Shooten.
the house mother.
Kind of like the house mom. Jan Shooten plays Paula. And those are kind of like your main players.
Ironically, I lived for her hair.
I lived for her hair.
You know, girl, that she was on an episode of Star Trek.
Yes, a very famous episode of Star Trek.
Which one? It's the 1960s, the original?
1960s, yeah.
Interesting.
So I think she like had a communing with psychic aliens or some shit.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a very classic episode.
Yeah, as one does. So they draw straws to see who's going to do what in this investigation.
Right.
And of course, Farrah Fawcett is going to become a feline undercover.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She undercover pussy hoodie.
Yes, looking beautiful in her little, pussycat regalia, just gorgeous with her hair up. We say this every single week, but those women, all 3 of them are done, and they just shine. They're just so beautiful. Like there's light coming off of Farrah. They're just so beautiful. But even Kate Jackson, who's kind of like the least pretty, even she's just
not least pretty.
Lovely.
They make her the least sexy.
The least sexy, because she's also the smart one, and she's also the quality.
You can't be both. You can't be both.
You can't be both,
well,
right? And she's also
unless you live in St. Petersburg, darling.
Yeah.
She's also the one that's the qualitative thinker. Like she's the one that, like, when Bosley's giving out the scenario, she's like, "But what about this? But what about that?" Like she's the detective. She's the butch.
They dress her really well, but you're right about Farrah, because even in the beginning when what was it? Paula is like training her. She's like, I remember to smile, and Farrah smiles. She's like, be tantalizing, not devastating, or something like that.
Yeah, it's just ugh.
Oh, on second thought, maybe you better forget the smile. You're supposed to tantalize, not devastate.
Thank you.
So, Sabrina is going to pretend to be Hugh Hefner, Tony's roommate, which makes no sense to me.
Roommate,
in a mansion.
Yes. Roommate,
in a mansion.
Yeah.
And his current piece, Carmel, is not having it.
Okay, let's talk about her for a second.
Let's talk about
She's
Carmel.
obviously younger. Was she the same actress that was freaking out super badly in Jaws 2? Okay, do you remember when in Jaws 2, it's the one where all the teenagers are stranded out by an island, and Jaws is just like menacing them.
And they can't.
And there's a girl that's freaking out. Like at one point, she's before all of this, she lures the chief's son by saying, "Do you listen to your parents all the time?
Do you want to taste Carmel?
Do you want to taste?"
So I don't know if it's the same person, but I'm gonna Google it. Because she had the same hairstyle.
What I think is lovely. What I think is lovely is, so she is going to crash at this Hugh Hefner's guy's at Tony Mann's house, basically to protect him, to keep him safe. But he has a girlfriend. The girlfriend gets upset. She's clearly under 20 years old. But the girlfriend, and Sabrina get into a read.
Down.
True.
I wrote it down. Hold up.
Yeah. And Sabrina gets red, honey. Like Sabrina
down. Like her face is like,
she's gagged. And apparently Sabrina is an old bitch when, like, Kate Jackson was probably
Like 26.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently she's like some old bitch.
Carmel, this is Sabrina. She's an old friend of mine, and she's going to be staying with us for a couple of days.
Hey, when did this get to be Senior Citizens Week?
Well, then maybe you'd like to take a little trip down to Acapulco for a while.
No way. Sun's too strong down there. It ages the skin. You look like you've spent a lot of time on the beach. Me? Oh, yeah, you're right, I have. I bet you'd like it there. Probably find somebody your own age to hang around with. What was it, Tiger? Was I too much for you?
If you'd just be patient for a while.
Why don't you call me when you've gotten off this geriatric kick?
But here's the thing. Yeah, Sabrina gets red, but points go to her ultimately because she's unbothered. So if you unbothered, you can't be red.
She
gives it to Tony Mann back, like, oh, I didn't know you was into children.
Honey, because that's Sabrina Duncan of the Dunkin' Donuts dynasty, darling. Don't get it twisted, darling.
When we solve this case, I'll leave your house and you can go back to the high school and pick up some 16-year-olds.
You perverted old creep.
Yeah. And then she says, oh, and by the way, I don't care about Antoine.
I don't care about Antoine. Okay.
Ho, ho.
But the best part is that when Miss Carmel stomps off in her bikini, Sabrina's like, don't you walk away from me, you chalk-faced whore. And I was like, ooh, they're throwing down. So Sabrina's playing the roommate, house guest.
Yeah, but just to get the
was it platonic? Because they do kiss on the lips several times.
No, honey, they were both moist.
At first,
was the lips, both sets of lips? Is that what you're saying?
Mama.
I thought
both her lips and his lips.
It's the one false.
All three sets of lips.
There were many lips.
I thought it was the one false note in this show that Sabrina would fall for this nasty, misogynistic a-hole. I mean, he does show a little bit of heart in a leisure suit. I mean, he does show some heart at some point, but it's like, no, girl, you're too smart for that. Like, that doesn't work narratively for me.
You got a cop ex-hubby who's a little nicer and a little
well, yeah, but maybe he's a little looser, but he's not around. And she's like, yo, let me get some of this like mansion dick, honey.
I want to point out one little stupid thing that just I saw and I was like, that's so stupid. So at one point there is a shot, I don't know why, of Jill's makeup bag. And it's a lovely little makeup bag, except in cheap. What would you call that?
Like a label maker.
A label maker. She wrote Jill on her makeup bag.
Are you kidding me? That's a makeup bag? I didn't know that. I thought it was like her script. I was like, ooh, blooper.
It's like, Jill,
oh, shit,
like,
girl.
Why would you put your name on your makeup bag and in such a cheap little thing?
Oh my God.
It was the 70s, darling.
So they end up in the club and Farrah Fawcett Jill is working her feline act and the customers there are disgusting. One of them like gives her his hotel room key and then she gives it to somebody else like, this is my key.
Who is just as scuzzy, like, no, like touching, like grabs her.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, honey, here's my key. Meet me there at 3:00 and have the lights off. I like to be surprised.
Businessmen are going to show up at the same hotel room thinking that they're going to fuck a beautiful blonde, which I thought was
because
lovely.
They're so drunk, they may fuck each other. Who knows?
Yeah, honey. They're gonna just get up into it, honey. There's gonna be some coin slot action, lights off,
scissoring going on.
Scissoring,
also,
darling.
I thought that that Jill dealt with the misogyny and the touching and the craziness. I thought she dealt with it with so much grace and a smile.
Because
and
Kate Jackson would have been pulled out her gun.
Because I'm telling you, somebody would have gotten smacked, but then you lose your job.
Yeah.
So like I thought like the performance was really good. Like that's exactly how one of those girls would deal with that type of situation.
Does Farrah Fawcett's character never wield a gun? I think I've never seen her wield.
were inmates in the country, and they didn't grab the guns of the guys when the car crashed.
Okay, I don't think she ever wields a gun in the show.
She's a
which is
lover,
like
not a
kinda-
fighter.
She's a lover, not a fighter, and she's gorgeous. And then in the middle of it, Jacqueline Smith as Kelly comes out to serenade the crowd. She is apparently a singer.
First lip
Yeah.
syncer ever.
Honey,
Yes.
sashay away.
Bad lip sync, but just a little tidbit, TV tidbit. She's wearing a beautiful pink beaded gown that she had just worn on the cover of TV Guide. In fact, the three of them had been on the cover of TV Guide in the same exact gown. So they reused that gown
Wow.
from the TV Guide shoot.
And she
in that
looked amazing.
episode. She looked
She looked-
amazing.
As always, gorgeous. The musical number was tired.
Bosley was playing the tape in the back, not hiding very well that he was doing that too.
Yeah.
Bitch, I've seen better shows at Pieces on Christopher Street. And in the middle of it, here comes Miss Carmel
With the Bob Gucciani type character.
being rude, honey, just like talking through Miss Jacqueline Smith in her finest hour.
Thank
Nuh-uh.
you. Like a Ganza in the
Girl.
opera house. It's
And a
just
fight breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
And all kinds of drama happens henceforth.
It turns into a big fight. By the way, I
Yeah.
also want to say that Tony Mann is wearing a beige version of the awesome denim suit that Richard Mulligan was wearing in a previous episode, except this one is
Interesting.
beige, but he's wearing the same red turtleneck. It's the same suit. It's just
It
in
was
beige.
it was the 70s, darling.
It was the 70s.
Multifunctioning.
But so, like Carmel's new piece, who is Tony Mann's arch nemesis, behind the scenes, he's trying to take over the
Right,
club
right.
or take over Tony's
Right.
empire, and there's all these kind of financial shenanigans happening.
And as it turns out, and this is not sort of telling you too much about what's going to happen, because there are more twists and turns, but he's in cahoots with the business
Somebody.
manager, with Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, the one that Miss Booby wants to munch. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Learn it.
So next thing we know, there's a photo shoot involving a tennis court. Am I right?
Yes,
A boring
yes.
ass photo shoot on a tennis court.
Yeah.
And
Because
of
they're
course, Jill looks fabulous.
amazing.
Always.
In her tennis whites. She looks
Always
fabulous.
serving.
And all the main players are there except for Kelly.
Yes.
Sabrina's there and Paula's there, and they're all there.
And Dale, not that anyone sees him, even though it's right in front of everyone, Dale should have tipped his hand because he takes a little bomb, what looks like a handball,
Yes,
ball,
I'll say.
and puts it into the machine
The
that
tennis
shoots
ball
out the
machine.
tennis balls.
Do they
But
show
he
him
does
doing
it
it?
They show him doing it, and he
Oh,
does it in front of everybody. And
Now, who's
nobody
Dale again?
notices.
The accountant that you want to blow.
He is the
Yeah.
accountant.
Okay.
The one that
Who
you want
runs
to
the
blow.
with
business.
the
is Booby.
glasses. My
Yeah.
man.
Glasses,
Right,
yeah.
Your
right.
man. Yeah. Yeah, girl. So there's Jill flipping and playing and whatever. And here comes the orange ball at her. And I
And
guess
when
she
she
hits it with a
hits it,
racket. It explodes.
And
Like,
it explodes.
literally explodes, knocking her to
yeah.
the floor.
Lovely. But what I find hilarious is that, they all rush over and Tony's like, get her a blanket, get her. What the fuck is a blanket going to do?
How
Well, she
about
could be in shock. When
how about
bitches
call an
go in shock,
ambulance?
they get cold.
Call the police. No, get her a
No,
blanket
get
and
her a
offer
blanket.
her the centerfold.
Yeah.
Right, because
Right.
nothing speaks. I says I'm sorry than getting you butt naked and paying you
then
for it.
pose nude for
Been
me.
there.
Poos nude, darling. Poos nude. That is my favorite Indian dish. Whenever I'm
Pose
in
nude?
Pose nude?
Poos nude,
Like a big
honey,
plate of pose nude?
with a little bit of naan on the side.
Oh,
Yes.
bud.
Oh, but. I could go for some but. I got to be honest, darling. So, all right. So after the tennis incident, now is this the part where Kelly goes creeping up in Booby's boyfriend's house to look at his calendar? Or
Yes.
is that later?
Kelly breaks into his house
With her set of
And-
keys and things.
and actually discovers his diaries and his calendars, where she sees he is the one, definitely for sure, that is sabotaging the business.
Staging a
She finds the
walkout.
truth. Yeah, staging walkouts and just causing all this drama. So she also assumes that he is the murderer as well. So
Right.
they set a trap for him. They set up Dale Earnhardt to arrest him. And Kelly does this thing where she's like, I broke into your house, I read your diaries, I want $100,000, or I'm going to the police.
She's like, I found a more lucrative revenue stream.
And he's like, sure, meet me at this abandoned oil refinery by yourself.
Right.
And I'll give you the 100,000. And it's like, how about meeting at, at around the clock on Second Avenue?
Popeyes.
Yeah, right. But she goes, and it's like, how many times are we going to put Jacqueline Smith's life in danger? They are always shooting her and killing her and messing her up.
Skip, that's a real...
It's like, girl. And then she's even like, "Hey guys, I'm not sure about this. Like, I think it's
oh, girl."
And they're like, "Girl, just do it. Just do it."
I really don't like being bait.
And they're like, and Ozzy's like, "Just do it."
And she's dressed like in bright red. You can't miss her. But you're right.
I love that outfit, by the way. The flared red jeans and the red stripes.
I think her sweater says blue jeans, like BLEU, blue jeans. Is really cute. But you're right, Batinga. Like they always be beating on her because in this one she's like getting throttled over the edge of a fence and lets out such a scream.
Yeah.
But she throws him over the side.
And of course they apprehend him and they arrest him and they think the case is over because they assume he's the killer. And Charlie gives them a couple days off. So we cut to that evening at Jill's seaside, lovely 1970s seaside little villa. And someone breaks into her house because they think she's going to be the next cover model and tries to chloroform and kill her. And just by the seat of her pants, she's able to fight the assailant off.
I never realized how helpless these women can be sometimes. Like the movie version with Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore, all of them are shit kickers and, they all have karate, black belts and, they're just way more, being able to defend themselves. These bitches, unless it's Miss Honey with the gun, one is getting shot by an autistic kid, and the other's being like knifed in chloroform.
Exactly.
It's like, what?
Exactly. Bitches are dropping
Why
like
can't you learn to fight?
You just put them in the in the way of danger. The only one who seems really, really capable is Kate Jackson because there's a moment later in the episode where Kate fucking kicks ass.
And she's not afraid to take out her gun.
Right.
Remember,
she was a cop.
They were police officers. They were police officers.
Oh, really? Were the other two like desk job officers? Because I couldn't tell.
Yeah, no,
maybe
crossing guards. I don't know.
Anywho, so someone tries to chloroform Miss Farah, and so for safety's sake, they have her go stay with Paula, the house mother,
rather than stay with Kelly or Sabrina or put her in a hotel or a safe house. Let's put her in the house of this stranger who seems perfectly lovely and nice.
So sweet.
The character, I really like the character.
Getting a lesbian vibe off of her the entire show.
But you could tell like the character cared for her girls and blah, 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 blah. But like, why are you going to go stay with this character?
I was trying to tell her earlier, don't do the centerfold. I know they just offered it to you. Girl, you just started. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You a good girl.
You a good girl, baby.
I pet her on the head.
Yeah, you a good
girl. She goes to stay with Hey Paula.
Yeah, hey Paula.
And so meanwhile, Jill and Sabrina are kind of like having a little
Kelly and Sabrina
are having a little tete-a-tete. And
in Jill's apartment.
In Jill's apartment for some reason. Right. And one of them makes a comment about Gloria Steinem. I don't know how they get there, but then it spurs Sabrina into thinking, hey, wait a minute.
We have been so misogynistic as well.
That we haven't considered that the killer could be a woman.
That's so funny. I just had this horrible image of Gloria Steinem drumming us out of the court for not solving this case.
Oh, my God.
What?
Sometimes I think we're the biggest chauvinists of them all. Who says the murderer couldn't be a woman?
One of the waitresses at the club?
No, they don't know the layout of Jill's place. They've never been here. But Paula has.
Paula?
It has to be Hey Paula Poundstone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so they rush to Paula's apartment because they know that something's going to go down. But
they called asking for Miss Jill, and she's like, "Oh, she's not here right now."
She's not here.
But they already had the clue that it's probably this bitch.
Hello,
Paula.
Sabrina, could I speak to Jill, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. She's not here yet. Is it important?
Well, it could be. I tell you what, could you have her call me when she gets there?
I sure will. Bye-bye.
Meanwhile, her tea has been drugged to knock her out. Miss Paula, who clearly now we all know is the killer.
And mind you, she's killed 2 people. She's about to try and kill a 3rd.
But sloppy of her to do it in her own home.
So sloppy.
Yeah, I mean, and shocking, she must be pretty strong because to kill 2 bitches without nobody fighting back or hurting her or nothing, and then and in several of the scenes, like she's no joke, like she's a formidable villain because they thought she was they thought she was a man.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like she's not one to be toyed with.
So Kelly and Sabrina are racing over in, I think, Kelly's Pinto, but waiting for the elevator. I guess it was a high rise.
By the way, Kelly, in Sabrina's orange, ugly ass Pinto, why does she have such a fucking tired car? That car is tired.
And meanwhile, Miss Paula Poundstone is up there getting her chloroform, which she keeps in a cabinet next to a jar of Libby's tomato sauce or something.
I saw that. Libby's.
Honey.
Like, what would have prevented Farrah Fawcett from opening a cabinet and seeing that thing of chloroform?
Do you cook with this?
Hey, I need some tomatoes. Libby's tomatoes. Anyway, so she's setting up her chloroform and her pinking shears or her scissors or whatever she has, because she gonna do the do. She gonna do the deed. And she goes in and starts chloroforming Miss Farrah Fawcett. And honey, Kelly and Sabrina, I guess the elevator came.
The doors are knocking.
Paula, Miss Paula. Hey, Miss Paula. Knocking at the door, and then all hell breaks loose. Girl, take it.
Sabrina busts through the door. And Miss Paula is now in the kitchen trying to attack them, and with these big knitting shears, and Sabrina, unafraid, blocks it, fucking knocks her lovely, and says, Kelly, check on Jill. And she's like, I got this. Because she's on the one, honey. Somehow Paula gets out onto the fire escape, and then
that doesn't happen quite yet. Something happens while they're still in the kitchen.
Yes,
bitch. Her Gilda gets knocked to the side. Bitch is bald headed.
Bitch is bald and burned.
Fab wig. I must say.
But she wasn't looking beautiful tonight.
And that was the inspiration for James Mansfield's line of wigs today.
Terrible.
It's a gag. It's
also,
a gag.
Only half
comes out, and then you could tell she's like bald, and it's like, wow, that wig was fucking stunning, because that had to be a lace front, because I could never tell.
Unspookable.
Human hair. And human hair. Go on, girl. So what happens? She runs out to the fire escape.
Paula gets out onto the fire escape, and
or the
then
balcony.
we have onto the balcony, and we have an exposition dump where Paula, tells her story of being the muse of Tony, loving Tony, and being beautiful, and people recognizing her and being this beautiful. By the way, she was still a beautiful woman, even with the scars and the wig for the whole episode.
Because she ripped her sleeve off.
And she
showed these horrible scars on her right arm.
She'd been in a car accident where she had been badly burned, and there was nothing that could be. Her hair was gone, and her body was burned. So of course she couldn't be a nude centerfold anymore. But it's not like she wasn't a beautiful woman. But this, of course, scarred her mind as well.
Lovely.
And she couldn't take it when Tony would choose a new centerfold, and that's why she was killing the centerfolds. And
why was she cutting off their hair?
Because
she ain't got none.
She lost her own hair.
What was she gonna? Was that just like an added like fuck this bitch, or was she like collecting hair to make her own wig?
It was an added fuck this bitch.
No, it's like, you know what? You thought you was lovely, now you dead, and you
bald.
Now you
dead with no hair.
And you bald, bitch. What about it?
Listen, I've had dates like that. It's not
okay.
Cute.
Go ahead, girl.
It's not cute.
So then she's gonna fling herself off the balcony, all her bald headed self and everything.
But then she turns around and looks at them and says, "Butch Queen." No, I'm only kidding.
Now, mind you, Jill apparently is in like a coma in the next room, and they're having this conversation where I would be like, "Bitch, jump!"
Right?
Nah,
but they're
Sabrina. Sabrina's like, doctors can help you. And Paula's like, I've been to every plastic surgeon. Sabrina's like, no, honey,
Psychologist.
psychiatrist,
Yeah,
Which
darling.
right.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then
So,
and ironically, they show a lot of compassion because
Way more compassion than I
you
would have.
she just killed two people. It's
You
not
killed two
like
people.
it's she skipped a
Yeah.
line at the bus stop. Like girl,
right.
she's a murderess, but they
Yeah.
understood what was the cause of it and that she's not all up in the head
And they talk to her with a lot of
and
compassion. And she
comfort
tries
her. Yeah,
and she
even
tries
though
to
they
throw
try to
herself
kill
off,
Jill too.
even
Right.
though she tried to kill Jill.
She's
And
like,
they
listen,
subdue her. Of
they're
course, they
like,
subdue her.
look here, you burnt up, bald headed bitch.
You
Okay.
burnt up bald bitch.
You
That's
thought you
what
was
I would have
scared.
been like. Look here, you bald bitch. Don't
Yeah.
you find
Okay.
me? You just tried to kill my friend. I will toss you off this roof.
Yeah, girl. I'll slap the rest of you bald headed
I
shit.
beat you back to Baghdad.
So
Okay.
in the denouement of this episode, we're back in the Townsend agency, and Miss Paula has been sent to like a medical institution, and they're like, "Hey, have we checked on Paula?
Yeah.
I've sent her our thoughts," and I'm like, "Why all this fucking sympathy for Paula? She's a
Well,
murderess."
Yeah.
but also in solidarity with Paula in that last scene, all three angels have shaved their heads,
They
which I
shaved
thought was
their head.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it turns out that Sabrina is dating this guy, and I was like,
Tony.
"Girl, I'm gonna date this guy."
Nah,
He's
bitch.
gonna
He's gonna
slide.
try older than 20. She said, or he said.
Uh,
Yeah,
Well,
for 2 weeks,
yeah.
I was like,
and
yeah, nah.
that was Lady Killer.
You have bald headed bitches. You had 70s fashions. You had a bad lip sync. You had tennis balls exploding. It had everything.
Everything.
Tacky makeup bags.
Tacky makeup
Tagging
bags, honey.
bags down.
It had everything for real. Speaking of tacky merch,
Yeah.
the link for our Redbubble merch shop will be in the description below, along with links to our socials and our Patreon and please get Paula a new wig fund GoFundMe page. We will see you next time. Signing off for So Auntie-Ways, this is Sha Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
And of course, Booby.
Desperado.
Auntieways.